Valorant agents ranked worst to best in 2022. At 18 is Yoru. Yes, with the buffs he's not an unviable agent, but in ranked, Yoru is still picked like 5% of the time. His TP rarely has a big advantage on enemies, his ult is more useful, his footsteps as well. I think he is good if you know how to use him well, and his abilities have more guaranteed value compared to before, but Yoru still isn't picked much, because his overall kit is trying to outplay enemies, and that just doesn't work well for Valorant players. 17. KO. KO's knife is, in my opinion, the worst recon. His blind is so easy to dodge, his molly is more used to block entrances rather than deal damage. His ult is useful, but it makes you in an even gunfight, it doesn't really benefit you. So if you have good aim, you will likely win the gunfight. If you don't, KO won't benefit your style much. Finally, his res is rarely used. The main benefit is gathering more info when you're in that state. 16. Brimstone. Brimstone is a solid controller. It's just that his other abilities don't have much impact. His molly is good for lineups and has the highest damage. His ult rarely kills people, especially in the higher ranks. His stim is kinda useless on defense. 15. Breach. Breach has gotten nerfed while other agents have gotten buffed. His flashes are still the best in my opinion, but the fact that his best ability can only be used twice doesn't make him as powerful. Plus, you can easily blind teammates. His E ability is one of the worst abilities, as it rarely affects people. His Q ability is the same way, where yes, it's good at moving enemies, but it's not really any value most of the time. His ult is good for post plant, but other than that, most of the time, your team won't peek with you in the ult, or you would just still get killed because it doesn't catch everyone on sight. 14. Neon. Neon has very average abilities. Her run can't really get her out of bad situations, and if she used it to rotate, it's predictable. Her stun is kinda like Breach's, where it's usually to hold pushes, but it doesn't help you kill them. Her ult is, I think, pretty overrated. It was hated at first, but now it's not that impossible to conquer. It's not like an instant kill, so if you hit a headshot on the Neon, it's an easy kill. Her walls are good. I think Phoenix's are kinda better, because the teammates always lose health. 13. Phoenix. Now yes, Phoenix hasn't gotten nerfed or anything, but his kit is overall pretty average. His blind is easy to dodge and lasts really short. His molly is only used for healing really, and it only heals for 50. His wall is pretty good, and his ult is one of the best. I've seen some Phoenixes who only use their util for healing and ulting, and just those two things are probably enough for most Phoenix mains. 12. Omen. Omen is kinda like Brim, where his smokes are great, and because of that he's just not the worst agent. But his TP ability and his ult ability are rarely used to get kills. And even if the ult is for info, Cypher's is way better for that. His blind is why I put him above Brim this far. 11. Reyna. Reyna has gotten nerfed, but I don't think it's too bad. Best heal in the game, good backup if you're in a bad situation. It's just that everything needs a kill in order to use it, which I think if you don't even get a kill, is useless. Compared to Phoenix's, where even if you don't get a kill, you still get a lot of info. Her blind, though, is one of the best in the game, as it doesn't blind teammates. 10. Sage. Sage has a good value kit, so if you wall every round, you're still helping your team even when you die. Her heal isn't that important, her slows are super good, way better than a stun or KO's knife at holding pushes. Her ult, as you all know, is the best in the game, and that's why I put it at number 10. Number 9. Cypher. Cypher has the best E ability with his camera, good ult with guaranteed info, and you can change your whole team's positioning based on it. His trips can be set up with his cage as well. Cages can be used as one-ways. I feel like a pro Cypher player is better than a pro KJ player because there's just so many setups in one-ways. KJ is higher on my list though because it's just more guaranteed value for the average ranked player, even if you don't know any setups. 8. Skye. Skye has some super average abilities, like her dog is pretty good for info and it can stun, but it doesn't do one thing really well. Her flashes are the best for long range and can be used at close range or to just bait. One of the best flashes in the game. Her heal is better than Sage's, but she can't really heal herself. Also, you have to be in proximity, which kinda sucks. Her ult a lot of the times does get shot, but if you take advantage of it, it can be really good. 7. Chamber. His TP is faster than yours, and you can use it many times in multiple areas. His ult and Sheriff requires some aim to use, and plus you're dependent on a limited amount of shots. But most of the time, the 8 Sheriff shots is more than enough, at least for most rounds. The op is basically guaranteed kills if you play long range, even if you're not like Wardell. The op's really easy to get kills with. His info spotting ability isn't as good as like a tripwire or an alarm bot, but it can definitely slow pushes and detect flanks well. Number 6, Raze. Raze is a really low skill stealing agent, and I think that kinda hurts it more than helps, because the top 5 require a lot of skills and lineups, which is really helpful. Her boombot and nade are really good value, especially when enemies are grouped together, and even if the boombot doesn't explode, it still gets some info. No wonder Raze is the highest damage dealing agent. Her ult used to be one of the best, but now it's well adapted to, and players get really good at hiding, so you have to get the timing right. Also, it costs 8 orbs, which I think is too much because many times you don't get any value from it. Number 5, Killjoy. Killjoy is a really good agent with really good lineups for attack and defense. Guaranteed value with the turret, especially during pistol round. Alarmbot is more of an info ability, as I almost never get a kill in their vulnerable state. Mollies are great, especially on maps like Split, Ascent, or Haven. It's almost impossible to attack that site due to the narrow entrances where her mollies are. Her ult is one of the best in the game, affecting the whole site and can be easily used to clear a site. Number 4, Astra. Astra is a great all-around controller, and with her abilities being able to be used together, it's a deadly combo. I've seen Astras being set up with Killjoy stuff, and it's just so hard to push through that. Great LOS blocking wall, and I think it's the ideal controller ult, because it just blocks out so much for the enemies. Number 3, Jett. Jett is just good if you're doing good, and if you're whiffing, Jett's abilities aren't saving you. Unlike Raze, where if you're whiffing, at least the ult doesn't require good aim, or the nade or the boombot. Her knives are still the best eco weapon, in my opinion, and I think it's even better than Chamber's op. Her smokes last as long as you need it to push into sight, and even when they do disappear, the whole team is already on site by then. Her dash is the best get out of the bad situation ability, because unlike Reyna you don't have to get a kill, and it's faster than Raze's where you have to stick a satchel on the wall first. Her updraft is probably her weakest ability, but it's good with the ult. Number 2, Viper. Viper's whole set is just so great, because everything does damage, and everything except for the molly has LOS blocking abilities. One of the best ults, great setups, and even with the damage Viper can do, so you can block areas just as well as Astra or Omen or Brim. Number 1, Sova. Sova has an infinite number of lineups on 2 of his abilities. Has a guaranteed kill ult if you use it right, unlike Raze's where you have to look for people hiding. His drone is probably the best info gathering ability in the game. His recon is rechargeable, which I think shouldn't be a thing. He's really the king of info and the king of post plan. Alright guys, thanks for watching and have a good day.